saying good morning, sorry.
Good to see you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome, and I call to order this meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie, and we're going to begin with a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. We're going to have start with our roll call.
Good evening, Bill Reuter, First Ward.
Hello, Barbara Laird, Second Ward. Ann Berger, Third Ward.
Michael Safone, Fourth Ward.
Ryan Sharp, Ward 5.
Felicia Salvatore, Town Clerk.
Jim Nelson, Attorney for the Town.
Rebecca Edwards, Town Supervisor. There was an issue with sound. Are the people on Zoom able to hear, or are we having a sound issue? Just checking in. We're good now. Okay, wonderful. I just want to say one thank you as an announcement, which is that it says still no sound. So we'll work on the sound issue for the folks who are on the Zoom. And now where the board one is on, the microphone mute. That's the two microphones here. We're going to check it out here. All right. Well, let me just say while we're waiting for that to happen, that working on the sound a little bit and getting everybody situated, that on Sunday night, actually very early Monday morning at 3 a.m., the town experienced what we would call a cyber event, which is that the networks, someone got into the network. And I just want to say that our consultant, CSI, and our IT team, Tim Millard in particular, acted with extraordinary speed in the middle of the night, shut down the servers, and it appears we did not have any long-term damage. We had no data breach. But it was a reminder of how scary the world is, and tonight and in the upcoming meetings, we will be working on some increased cybersecurity measures. And I mostly just wanted to thank Tim, who worked something like a 22-hour day to come in the middle of the night and solve those issues. So, we are had in conversations with our insurers that cybersecurity is the #1 security concern for municipal governments, and so it's a little bit of a new world we live in, and it's a learning experience for all of us. But I appreciate Tim's work. Okay, we begin tonight with a public hearing. So I move to open the public hearing. Oh, do we do we do public hearing first and then comment on the agenda, right? I move that we open the public hearing on Town Code Amendment Chapter 210 relating to animal services.
Do you have a second?
Yes.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Doreen says they still have no sound.
All right, they're working on sound.
We're going to want to give them 1 minute just to check.
Yeah, want to give 1 minute. See if we can get the sound working here.
I'll be right back. Does anybody have any other announcements that they want to talk about at the moment?
I think so. There's some cake in the back for anybody who might like a piece of cake. We're continuing our Valentine's Day theme because February's not over. So help yourself for a piece of cake.
Rebecca, since you did 1, then Bill's doing 2, I'm doing 3.
We can do it that way if you'd like.
Yeah.
Did you want to talk about the public hearing? Because I mean,
I could.
Who was
I mean, you
prepared?
could open probably public hearing for comment for anybody that's in the room.
Sure.
You want me to introduce the public hearing and then she'll start it too, or
No, we do the public comment to see if anybody has anything to
we're
say.
gonna open it up to
We'll do it that way. All
public
right.
comment for anybody right now?
Right now we're opening it for public comment. These are changes to the town's animal services, Town Code Amendment Chapter 210. And this amendment would permit kennels in the shopping center business district and revise the requirements for kennels in the highway business district. This change was prompted by a proposal for a new dog daycare facility Central Bark, which is wanting to open, and we are, the goal is to make some changes in the code that allow that dog daycare to open. So if there's anyone in the room who would like to speak, I think we should go ahead and continue with the public hearing or open the public hearing for people who are in the room, and then hopefully we'll get the sound issues sorted out so that we have someone, anyone who on Zoom who wants to participate can do so.
Does anybody in the audience want to speak or say anything?
Anyone who wants to speak?
Nope, come on up.
If you can come up, that gives us a chance to catch it in the microphone for the video, if you would. Thank you.
Okay. First of all, I'm Ron.
Come on, have a seat.
With Central Park. And we got our new little hoodies today, so we're pretty excited about that and excited about this. Thank you so much. I just wanted to clarify that with the zoning change, it's also for a standalone building, so that somebody doesn't have the perception that it's going to be, right next to, a food mart or restaurant or something like that. So it's a standalone building, and the way it was worded was fantastic. So that any shopping center that has a standalone building that's not attached to anything else, could have a dog daycare for this type of business. So I wanted to just clarify that and thank everybody for welcoming us in. We're very, very excited. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else who's here who would like to speak? I'm not sure how long if someone who is on Zoom can let me know, are you able to hear me on Zoom now? Do we have sound for folks on Zoom? We opened the public hearing and we're inviting anyone online.
I'm guessing that answer is no.
Because
Yep,
they would hear us asking.
I think they're not hearing.
No, they can't hear us yet. I got George answering.
Right.
Let me just, here comes Tim, let's see what he has to say.
Any luck? We're resetting something. Everybody give us another minute. Hopefully we can sort it out.
All good things take time.
Marlene?
Yes,
You do.
Yes, please. It's gonna be a good day.
Right now, we're speaking about the public hearing, Marlene, about the doggy daycare zoning change. If you're speaking about something else, that's in a minute. So you can have a seat right there.
Right after we close this, we'll talk about the agenda as a whole.
Yep, have a seat.
How are we doing now with people on Zoom? Are you able to hear us? Can people hear on Zoom?
Yes.
I see people connecting to audio, so I think we might be set.
Doreen, can you hear us?
If anybody who can text and let us know if you can hear us or chat. Ah,
Doreen?
Doreen, you can unmute to let us know if you can hear us.
so anyone who can hear us can put in the chat or you can speak. Okay.
Now she's
No
saying
Zoom.
no Zoom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we can be heard on TV. I see people connecting to audio, so I'm hoping that means that people are in fact able to connect to audio and participate.
Hey, Felicia, this is Doreen.
Thank you, Doreen.
We can hear you.
Can you hear us on Zoom finally, or no?
Are you able to hear us?
I can only hear you on the TV, not through Zoom.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Georgia, so she can hear us now.
Some people are beginning to connect to audio and are able to hear us on Zoom. So I think let's give it another. And is there anyone on Zoom who can hear, who would like to participate in the public hearing to speak to the change in the animal services law
Oh, okay.
and
no,
to the amendment to the town code? Is there anyone who'd like to speak to that issue?
She can only hear Doreen, actually.
And that's because it's on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Ann Shershin, Town Board Member, Ward 6, is also participating on Zoom, so I'm concerned that she's not able to hear as well. So, you know, this is the dilemma. I think we at some point need to proceed, even though we don't have folks on Zoom who can hear us. Let's give it another minute. Going back to the issue of IT investments, which we need to work on over the next month.
I know there was no one last week or the last meeting that spoke on this. The only reason that we adjourned it was because we were awaiting some response from the planning board. So I think if there was anybody that had any real pressing issues.
Yeah, they would have done it.
They would have done so, and we've had the owners speak twice.
Right. I'm going to see what the board's thinking is on this. I'd like to move that we close the public hearing.
And then I'll read the,
You could, I don't know if this is gonna be resolved. I mean, you could wait and move this till the end of the.
Well, if there was anyone during the public comment period who wanted to speak to wanting to reopen the public
I
hearing,
mean,
then
you
they could do so as
You
we
could
go
move
along.
the
So-
vote till the end of the meeting if you wanted to see. If
Well, I think we should close the public hearing. Let's take a vote. I have a motion on the floor to close the public hearing. Is there a second?
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Good.
If anyone speaks tonight during the meeting about wanting to reopen the public hearing, then we can certainly do so at the end of the meeting. But I don't think there's anyone on Zoom indicating that they want to speak for the public hearing. Okay, then we move to the regular agenda. Let me speak briefly to that. We are authorizing the supervisor to sign documents for sidewalk and other maintenance for a new admissions building at Vassar College. We are re-enrolling in the Dutchess County, we're taking a vote on whether to re-enroll in the Dutchess County Self-Insured Workers' Compensation Plan. We are voting on whether to canvass for quotes related to communication services, to have the town clerk advertise for RFPs for a municipal information technology or cyber review. We are voting on whether to authorize the recreation director to apply for an AARP Community Challenge Grant. We are voting on whether to award mowing bids for a 3-year period. We are voting on a sewer tenancy agreement for the Hudson Valley Animal Rescue Sanctuary, voting on a sewer treatment plant emergency procurement, and we have 2 notifications, one of someone who's applied for a retail cannabis license and also a notice of claim referred to the town. Okay? So we will begin at the top.
Okay, so we're gonna
Oh,
enact.
I'm sorry, I totally forgot regular public comment at the beginning of the meeting, so. May I move that we begin, that we open the floor, suspend the rules to open the floor for public comment.
Second.
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And that's for
Opposed?
agenda items. Come on, Marlene, you're up.
All right, you're up.
Aye,
Sorry about
Marlene.
that, Marlene.
That's okay.
As I stumble coming up here, does it matter which one?
No,
Okay.
Either one is great. Thank
I
you.
have a question in reference to this, well, this doesn't. In reference to Vassar College documents, in reference to ACE. What is ACE admissions for? Can you hear me?
Yeah, just a little closer, Mom.
Yes, we can.
Did you hear me?
Yes, we can. Do you want to move a little closer to the mic and repeat the question?
Yeah. I want to know what the Vassar College documents in reference to ACE. What does that mean? ACE.
Is that the name of the admissions building? It says ACE, admissions building.
It's on Vassar College.
Number
Somebody here
2,
was-
she's speaking about item
Yes,
2.
I know. And I don't know what ACE stands for, actually.
Admissions and career engagement.
Ah,
Aha.
someone behind you knows. Thank you, Mr. Chowley.
Admissions and
Admissions, it stands for Admissions and Career Engagement. So they'll be doing some career development work in that building, I expect, as well as admissions.
What building is that in?
A brand new one.
The brand new one?
Well, they're building a new, they didn't build it yet.
Okay, so this is in reference to the building they're putting in there, is that correct?
But it's not the, are you referring to the one that's over, like, across where the farmer's
The
market used to be?
The Innan Institute you're
I
referring to? or-
Yes,
want
but
to
this
know what
building
this-
hasn't even broke ground yet.
Okay.
Then what do we have it on the agenda for?
Well, because we're gonna break ground, I guess they're gonna.
It's accepting different
Yeah.
stormwater agreements and things such as that happen as you're
They're
going
building
through
a
the
new
planning
building on the
process.
Vassar campus right by the tennis courts.
Okay, so
So-
this little paragraph here is, that's what that means, that you're building a new building and this is what this is referring to. I thought it was referring to documents to another building.
No, it's to a new building that you might not even be aware of that's being built.
Yeah, well, that's why it threw me off and I didn't know what it meant.
Yes, it's I don't know when they're gonna break ground, but it's gonna go over by the tennis courts, correct?
Mike, do you
Right,
know anything in this?
It's by where the old tennis courts are. What I would say is before the ground can be broken, the town and the builder have to reach an agreement on who is gonna maintain the sidewalks and how is stormwater gonna be managed on the site, and some other, parking, all those arrangements, right? So this
Okay.
is preliminary work. Mr. Welty is here, and maybe his hand is up, so maybe he
Thank
wants
you
to
so much.
explain a little bit more. Mike Welty, the town planner, is here and might be able to add a little bit more.
I just wonder, because that doesn't make any sense to me, but
So
Now it's-
the new building is going to be on College View Avenue, over by where the tennis courts are. Some of those courts will be removed. The building is not broken ground yet. They do have an approved site plan from the planning board. When the planning board approves a project like that, it's usually what's known as conditionally approved. That means there are things they still have to finish before they can get the final plan signed. And one of the things we ask them to finish is all of these legal agreements for like the long-term maintenance of stormwater, for sidewalks and things like that. So these are the agreements that were drawn up by our attorneys and reviewed by Vassar. Once the board has authorized them, they can be signed. Then they can have their plans signed and they can begin construction. They anticipate starting this spring, so March or April.
Thank you very much, Mike.
Yep, you're welcome.
thanks, I understand, but I didn't understand.
Sure.
This sentence doesn't make any
Absolutely.
sense, but what you're explaining to us now makes more sense.
Okay,
more
good. We'll get to that first. That'll be the first item on the agenda, so we'll be reviewing it again in just a minute.
Okay.
Can I just say, I think it's working, Rebecca? And
Yep.
if anybody else on Zoom wanted to say anything about that public hearing?
Yes.
Because it's now kind of on the agenda, we can just do it that way before you
we're-
guys vote on it?
We're having public comment now for people to speak for 3 minutes each. And for those who were on Zoom, we did open the public hearing about the change to the town code with relation to animal services. And we closed that hearing, but we can reopen if anyone wants to speak to that now. We're welcome. We're happy to do that. I believe that, let me check and see if there's anybody else in the room who would like to speak.
Doreen has her hand up.
I know, I'm checking.
Yes,
Are you
Maureen?
good?
Yeah,
Okay, good. All right. Then we're just checking to see if there's anybody else who's in the room first who would like to speak during the public comment period. Anybody?
On any agenda item here in the room? Doreen, would you like to speak on an agenda item?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good.
I have a question on agenda item number 7. That's about the mowing of town parks, athletic fields, and town buildings. I have a question as to why, if those 3 bids were awarded to Tancredi Landscaping for somewhere around $328,000, that there's a need to hire additional hourly mowing and trimming from other groups. Could you explain that?
I can try, and then our town attorney can help if I get it wrong, but he and I had a discussion about this. So, the town must accept the lowest bid in these situations. Mr. Tancredi's company had the low bid for the main contracts, but there's an additional clause for additional hourly in case that's needed. We checked into it, and it's very rarely needed. We think only once in the past decade have we ever used additional hourly help. But nonetheless, there is an additional bid for that hourly mowing and trimming in case the town should need additional coverage. And there were other firms that had lower bids on that, and they were not the Tancredi Landscaping. So to do it right, we have awarded them the bid if they should wish to take it up, if we should get to a point where we need hourly mowing in addition to the regular contract.
Tancredi was on each of the 3 bids for town work, the lowest on each of them, but did not fill in a blank that had to do with how much per hour for supplemental work. The recreation director and other folks checked to see how many times in the last, I think it was 6 or 7 years, there had been a supplemental mowing request. There was one. And what the law says is that if there is a variance which is not substantial and it is not substantive, it can be overlooked by the town. And so this really is not so much a matter of overlooking something, rather than awarding the bids, each of the 3 on which Mr. Tancredi was low, to him. And then because there were other people, I'm repeating what you said, pardon me.
That's just fine.
Because other people had lower bids, which they did submit for hourly work, some of them going down to $45 an hour. The fair thing seemed to be to offer that to them in order of increasing bid, because there is some chance that someone will say, I'm not going to drive from wherever I am in order to mow for $45, unless I were fortunate enough to get the main contract. So I just repeated what, anyway,
So may I-
that's what happened.
I think that was what, I think what we should do is perhaps make sure we've answered Doreen's question, and then we'll have further conversation when we get to that item on the agenda.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you for the question. Is there anyone else on Zoom who would like to speak on any item on the agenda? Okay, I move that we return to the regular rules.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Did anybody put their hand up on Zoom to respond to your question about, do you want to talk on the public hearing matter?
They did
No,
not.
we did not see anyone responding that they wanted to speak on the public hearing, so I think we're good.
I think we're all set, so that could be the first one that we read.
Right.
Yep,
Go ahead,
Right,
Bill.
We have to enact it.
yep, okay.
Or talk about, whatever.
Okay.
Vote on, I should say.
Okay,
Okay, ready? Okay, Resolution 1. Be it enacted, the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie pursuant to a duly noticed public hearing held on February 7th and February 21st today, 7 p.m. in Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, does hereby adopt the attached local law amending Town Code 210 zoning to include amendments related to animal services. I will further mention that we received a recommendation as pertaining to the 7th meeting from Dutchess County Planning and Economic Development dated January 12th. A recommendation dated February 16th from the Town of Poughkeepsie Planning Board. Legal notices, hearing posted on January 18th and was published in the Poughkeepsie Journal on January 24th, 2024. And that the town clerk notified clerks of the surrounding areas and public hearing pursuant to GML 239NN. And be it further enacted that said local law shall take effect immediately upon filing with the New York State Secretary of State. So moved.
Second.
okay, is there any discussion? I'll just add that, very glad to have Central Bark folks here, and that, this isn't a location that used to be the Goodyear Tire Company. And it is a freestanding building and will be, a new amenity for dog owners in the town who want to make sure that their pets are having a day to, well, this is at least the first step to allow this proposal to go forward. So, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the motion carries 7-0.
6-0.
6-0. That's right, because,
She can't vote.
Right.
Board
this
member
evening.
Shershin is following along online, but is, with the family matter in Wisconsin, so, okay. All right,
Resolution number 2, be resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby accept the stormwater management facility inspection and maintenance easement regarding the project known as Vassar College ACE admissions building, and does hereby authorize the supervisor to sign a stormwater management facility inspection and maintenance agreement, sidewalk maintenance agreement, land banked parking agreement, construction and maintenance license and agreement, and any supporting recording documents in regard to the Vassar College ACE admissions building project. And be it further resolved that such acceptance and authorization by the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie is subject to the approval of all final documents by the town attorney, planning board attorney, town engineer, and director of municipal development for the town of Poughkeepsie. So moved.
Second.
is there discussion? I would like to offer an amendment, and that would be to authorize the supervisor or deputy supervisor to sign this agreement. If there's a second to that, I'll explain.
Second.
Does a traffic
Second.
study have to be done on this area? No,
I don't believe a traffic stuff needs to be done for this piece.
right, for this piece.
So this is a very standard agreement. There's absolutely no dispute or conflict between Vassar and the town over this matter. It's this boilerplate that we, unless there's some issue, this is the same agreement that anyone who's developing a property in the town would sign, and the town would sign. However, I am an employee of Vassar College. I am on an extended unpaid leave, but out of an abundance of caution, as they say, at the last minute, the town attorney and I consulted and decided that it would be better for the deputy supervisor to sign this, even though we don't see any conflict at all, and we're quite confident that I could legally sign it just in case. So, having had that conversation with him this afternoon, that's the nature of that's the reason for my amendment. So I don't know if there's any further discussion of that amendment?
I second that amendment.
Oh, okay.
Is that?
Mike already did.
I did, but
Oh,
now
I
it's
didn't hear you,
thirded,
Mike.
so that's
Sorry,
good.
Mike.
It's all good.
Okay, good. All those in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Any opposed? And any further discussion on the resolution? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion carries, the resolution carries 6-0.
All right, resolution number 3. Whereas Dutchess County Legislature adopted County Law Local Number 5 of 1980, which established the Dutchess County Self-Insured Workers' Compensation Plan, and provided for the rules and regulations for the administration of Article 5 of the New York State Compensation Law. Whereas Section 62 of the Workers' Compensation Law provides the authority for any public corporation to elect to become a participant in the plan by resolution of its governing body. The town board has determined that it would be in the best interest of the town of Poughkeepsie to continue to be a participant in the plan. And the town board has determined that electing to become a participant in the plan is a type 2 action under the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act and does not require any environmental review. So therefore, be it resolved that the town board hereby elects to become a participant in the plan, with such participation becoming effective January 1, 2024, and does hereby authorize the supervisor and or designee to execute the participation agreement in substantially the form annexed. The town board authorizes the payment of the town of Poughkeepsie's share of annual fees and expenses of being a participant in the plan. The town clerk is hereby directed to file a certified copy of this resolution with the Director of Risk Management in the County of Dutchess. So moved.
Second.
All right, is there any discussion of this resolution? If
Was
not,
this,
Yeah.
this is not that supplemental insurance we were talking about a couple weeks ago where, like ESI, no.
this
Right.
is workman's compensation.
okay.
This is our ongoing
Right.
workman's compensation for the
Okay.
state, so.
I would just add that
Thank you.
it is expensive, but however, this is probably the lowest cost option because we're tailoring, we're teeing off with the, or joining in with the county. So when you look at these figures, they're very expensive, and some of the rates are kind of surprising, and the different classification codes, which kind of surprised me, but this is the best, that we can do at this. So, thank you.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The resolution carries 6-0.
Whereas the town of Poughkeepsie would benefit from receiving professional consulting advice and services pertaining to the town's employment of social media and the development, operation, and maintenance of its website and other communication, public notice, and information services. Now therefore be it resolved, the town board, town of Poughkeepsie should authorize the supervisor to canvass for quotes for said services to be provided to the town by an independent contractor at $20 per hour for not more than 20 hours per week, and thereafter execute a contract for such work in a form acceptable to the supervisor, personnel administrator, and the attorney to the town. And be it further resolved, town board does hereby determine that the execution of this contract, which will involve no physical developments, type 2 action requiring no environmental review. So moved.
Second. Any discussion?
Well, we obviously need some help, so this will work.
Right. We are in the process of thinking about IT and communications, not everything from cybersecurity to how we're connecting with the public. This particular position will help us get the word out more about what's going on in the town, everything from transfer station opening dates to events to news, and it's going to provide us with some opportunities, I think, to use some of the tools that we're already paying for in the town more effectively, like the Civic Plus, Civic Engage network, and the Gov Delivery. So, any further discussion?
I would
Yes.
just like to say, it's really timely that this came up, this week, because it was, I think, last week when Fred Bunnell suggested that, we get more of a newspaper, the Poughkeepsie Journal wasn't telling us what's going on, and we heard that complaint, but it's great that we can act on this, because I think younger people are never gonna, maybe my daughters might, no, I don't think so, they're never gonna read a newspaper again. So I feel, at least it's online, maybe it's online, but now with doing more social media, I think we'll be able to reach more people and help everyone understand communication, because it's really key.
The only other thing I'll add is that some of us just went to the New York Association of Towns meeting. And some of us may report briefly on that at the end. And there were a couple of conversations about the rules around social media, and we are going to consult with the Association of Towns on that.
Yeah.
For example, on Facebook, if someone says something really insulting to a board member, can you delete it or block it or not? What are the First Amendment rights? What are any public engagement has those kinds of questions. So we're going to make sure that we are following the guidelines of the AOT, the New York Association of Towns, on that as well. Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The resolution carries 6-0.
Resolution 5. Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the town clerk to advertise 4 proposals for a municipal information technology review pursuant to request for proposals, which will be available on February 23rd, 2024 in the office of the town clerk and online, and that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby reserve the right to accept or reject all proposals in whole or in part, and that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby determine that the proposed work involves conducting studies which will not commit the town to undertake or fund any unlisted or type 1 action, and that it is a type 2 action requiring no environmental review. So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
My only thought is that it says that I'll be advertising and it'll be available February 23rd. That's like Friday. Getting this in the journal by Friday is never going to happen in a million years, so.
What time frame do you need? We'll make an amendment.
Yeah, geez, I'm sitting here, I don't know, I have the little thing on my cup in my office, and it's
Would you-
maybe by next Tuesday, the 27th, to be honest.
I think that's a friendly amendment.
That's a friendly, well, that might be the first time I can get it in the paper, to be honest.
Sure. Well, I think what it says is that that would be available at the office of the town clerk by February 27th and online, posted on the website by the 27th, but we'll see what else needs to be
Yeah, I
done.
mean,
but
is the proposal ready?
It is.
It is, okay.
It is, yep.
Okay, so, I mean,
We can talk it over tomorrow, and I think we can probably get it out there, but,
yeah,
We can change it to on or about.
We could say on or about February 27th.
Yeah, I mean, it can get in the journal, and, I mean, if we just
That is
change to the
friendly.
27th, I think that's better, that it's in the paper and online at the same, that's what we normally do with bids, that's just my opinion.
Okay, so we'll make
Okay.
the amendment to change it to the
The
27th.
27th,
Any second?
right. Was there a second?
Oh, we just changed it.
Okay,
Second.
second.
We did a
Oh,
second.
okay,
Mike made the amendment and Bill Reuter just seconded.
okay.
So now we can.
All those who vote, all those in favor of the amendment?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed?
Amendment to the 27th.
The amendment is, all right, the
Right.
amendment, we've made the amendment to February 27th.
Right.
All right,
Second.
so, seconded, and a motion on the, sorry. I got
Okay.
confused, I thought we had made it as a friendly amendment, but we'll vote for it. All right, all those in favor of the amendment from February 23rd to February 27th? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the amendment carries. Further discussion on the resolution itself. I think this is a review that's gonna, as noted by the events earlier this week, we need to review our cybersecurity. We also need to review our staffing level. We need to review our contracts, and we need just another set of eyes on everything to make sure that we're doing everything that we can, and to report to the board, because our IT department is under some stress, and we just need to make sure that we're getting things done. I will just say that, you know, we've made a commitment to continue to allow participation by Zoom in our town board meetings, which is really important to a lot of people, and it expands the number of people who can participate. But it also changes the nature of the meeting, and when we run into difficulties, it really, you know, it changes the atmosphere. So that's another area that we want to look to make sure we're doing the best possible communication. And software, hardware, everything, take a look at everything. So I think this is important. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution carries 6-0. Okay, resolution number 6. Whereas the American Association of Retired Persons, AARP, has extended an opportunity to communities to apply for a community challenge grant. And our recreation director, Janet McHugh, has requested authorization to apply. We are voting on whether to authorize her to apply for an AARP grant to be used to purchase and install a generator at our senior citizen center located at 14 Aves Way. So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? I'll just
No,
say.
I think
Yeah,
it's
go
an
ahead.
excellent thing to do. We've talked about it in a few meetings, and, you know, to have that as a backup there for any type of emergency situation or something that we might need is a wonderful idea. So I think and to get a grant for it, even better.
She is looking into solar as well as a generator as a possibility before she puts the grant in. But the idea is that then that area would be served by the senior center if there was an extended power outage, that you could bring your medications. If you had medications that needed refrigeration and put them there, you could get, and, you know, charge your phone and all the things we need to do in a power outage. And that the senior citizen center could also serve more effectively as a heating and cooling system if we have, you know, sustained heat or sustained frigid temperatures in a power outage or something like that. It provides that backup. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The resolution carries 6-0.
Ann could be reading, you want me to pick up 7?
I
pick
think
up-
you can pick up 7.
Okay. Be it resolved, Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby award the following 3 mowing contracts, which bids were opened on January 29th, 2024, per recommendation of Recreation Director Janet McHugh and Andrew Learn, PE of the Engineering Department. Those 3 contracts, as previously discussed, were mowing of town parks and other facilities, $127,953. Mowing of town parks with athletic fields, $164,646, and mowing of town buildings, $35,235. All won by Tancredi Landscaping. In addition, be it further resolved that Town Board further directs contractual for additionally hourly mowing and trimming equipment offered first to Curdy Group, North Landscaping and Development, $45 an hour. If not promptly accepted, Aguado Landscaping, $50 an hour. If that's not promptly accepted, Locust Landscaping at $65 an hour. So moved.
Second. Discussion?
Yeah, so,
Yeah, go right ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was just gonna, make it clear that these are for a 3-year period.
Yes, okay, thank you. So, carrying on the previous discussion, I'm assuming that the top 3 contracts won by Tancredi would be considered a fixed price. So, and then for supplemental work, the bids were submitted, and these are the return amounts per hour or the requested amounts per hour by the individual organizations, that's correct?
Yes.
Okay, fine.
All right. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we can mow our parks.
All right, great.
Resolution number 8, whereas Hudson Valley Animal Rescue Sanctuary is a nonprofit corporation, and its operations are on 15 Barnes Drive in Poughkeepsie, New York, and the applicants Celeste Wiltz and Samantha Vimbico have requested that Town of Poughkeepsie enter into a sewer tenancy agreement with them to provide sewer services for the uses presently conducted on the site, and those who have recently received Town Planning Board approval. The Engineering Department and Sewer Department have advised that the town wastewater system presently has sufficient equipment and capacity to provide the level of service required for the above uses at the site, and be it resolved, the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the supervisor or her designee to execute on behalf of the town, its sewer districts, and its improvement areas, a sewer tenancy agreement with the applicants to serve the current and approved uses at the site. So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? I'll just say that I believe that this is the last step in Hudson Valley Animal Rescue Sanctuary being able to be fully confirmed in that site. They do incredible work in the community with animal rescue and trying to assist both in their clinic and then with housing and finding new homes for abandoned pets and even cows. They have space for a few farm animals too. So, and I know that I talked to them yesterday and they're really excited about this, so.
Very good.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The resolution carries 6-0.
So number 9, is there a report from the sewer department?
I
Emergency-
believe it is.
Emergency procurement.
Sewer treatment plant emergency procurement.
There they go.
Is there, I don't think I have the full paperwork on this.
I
think
think
we may
that,
need-
I think that it is coming
Ah,
forth.
there we go. Okay,
Sure, come on up.
if you can speak to it, that would be helpful.
It's a discussion and report item.
Right, okay.
If you could just state who you are and.
Yep, Bob Eichler. I work for Veolia at the town treatment facility. This is Mr. Armstrong, Ray Armstrong. He's our electrician.
From Anderson Brothers Electric.
Yep. So back on December 29th, Mr. Armstrong responded to a call at our facility. We had a piece of electrical equipment that was not responding as it should. After some inspection, Ray found that the transformer in our thickener building is deteriorating. This is the second one that was installed well over 20 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And it's just in an environment where it's not a very good environment. There are sewer gases in the building, deteriorates the wiring over the years, and it just is failing. So before it gets out of control and we have failure in the facility or we have any worker safety, we would like Mr. Armstrong to replace it.
So what I've done is visited the site, reviewed the conditions that were there. Originally, there was a transformer installed when the plant was built, and that one failed. And then an additional one was installed within the plant about 25 years ago. That one's failed a couple of times and has been patched. So now it's to the point where it's putting out an unbalanced voltage, which is affecting the equipment. So the goal is to move it outside and move the power panel associated with it outside away from the gases. And that would operate all of the crucial equipment that's being affected by this defective transformer at the moment. By doing this, they'll probably, in years coming, there's gonna be additional electrical work required in this section of the building because of its age. It has never been upgraded. So what we're doing is trying to not affect what's gonna be done later on. So what we're doing is permanent, and it will eliminate a problem, but there'll be more problems down the road, I'm sure, just by the age of the facility. So that's the goal of what we're doing. We're eliminating a hazardous condition and keeping the plant functioning, which it needs to be, 24 hours, 7 days a week. The cost to that is, if I can find it.
Is it in our budget, or?
No, this would be, I shouldn't say, I don't know. It's the $39,000, $785 repair. And I believe engineering has agreed that this is
Engineering has deemed it an emergency.
an emergency condition.
I'm happy to open the floor to questions. I had a question, but let's open the floor.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you said 39,000? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yes, $39,785.
So you're saying there's an issue with the phases, is it arcing in any way, or is it?
It was at one point. Right now, there's an imbalance because the winding in the transformer's failing. So the voltage is not balanced, so it's affecting. What comes out of this is the lighting in the building, convenience receptacles, some pumps, the SCADA system. So if the transformer should fail, this could damage a lot of equipment.
Right, because
And-
it's not putting out consistent.
Right, and I think it's, January 2nd is when we proposed this, and time is of the essence, really.
There's been past arcing, though.
Yes,
That's,
the leads on the transformer have burned off before and been patched.
okay, thank you.
It might be helpful if you talk about the relationship between Veolia and this town at that particular facility.
Veolia operates the facility for
Right.
the town.
Right. So the town is the owner of the property.
Correct.
Veolia is the operator.
Correct.
Yeah. Mr.
One
Nelson?
of the things that the supervisor and I and Bob and I talked about was whether this fits within an emergency. Because there are exceptions to the seeker rules for emergencies, and there are exceptions to the procurement rules for emergencies. And so that's pretty much the threshold because, were it not an emergency, the standard practice would be to go through a procurement for this, and that would take some time. And so then that basically brings back up the question of whether this is considered to be an emergency. The other thing, which we did discuss internally, and Bob, I don't recall whether I discussed it with you, is that this is an improvement to a building which is owned by the town. And the contract with the operator provides that for repairs in excess of $5,000, they are to be done by the operator, pardon me, the contract operator, but the town pays for them. And so this is money that is going into the repair of a public structure. And I don't know I don't know what the breakdown is between the transformer and, if you will, the construction of the shed. Not, I'm sure it's not a shed, but, the protective covering for it when it goes outside. But I believe that the work, unless it's being done by an individual who's not part of a corporation, is something that would be covered by prevailing wage. So I don't know if you factored that into your cost.
Cost-wise, yes.
So-
That's a fixed cost. The only thing that could change if this gets delayed and procurement of certain things becomes worse. When I put this price together, material were available for a shipment, but a limited amount. And that's a thing everywhere. Sometimes you think they're gonna have it and they don't. But a month ago, everything was available.
So in conversation, we determined that this could wait until tonight when that the full board should hear it and discuss what they wanted to do rather than the supervisor act. There's emergency, like life and limb is in peril right this very moment, and there's different layers. We figured we could wait until tonight and to talk about it when this came to my attention. But I think we should discuss tonight, whether the board views this as an emergency. So I think we should ask whatever questions we need to, in order to determine that what we think. And then authorize, I assume, we don't have a vote on that amount. It's a report and a discussion. I think we can authorize the amount tonight.
Well, it's not only the fact that there was past arcing, it's the imbalance, but something you might not have mentioned is the additional cost if we don't do it. What will occur?
Exactly.
And-
There's
and-
other,
and
there's,
that's a massive amount of money.
you know, it's easy for me to sit here and try to paint a doom and gloom
Right.
picture, and I'm not trying to do that.
No.
But it's a fact. If this transformer fails anymore, this could damage the SCADA system, this could damage flow meters, not to mention pumping equipment. So in my 40-something years, I would say that this is an emergency.
Okay.
So I would move, is there further conversation, further discussion, or questions?
Well, I want to vote yes in a second, but in talking to Bill, who is on the sewage, is it called the board? What's it called?
Well, it's
Wastewater?
a commission.
Commission. He was talking about the state of the facility where our workers are, and it's been pretty neglected for a long time. And coming straight off of Association of Towns, there are lots and lots of grants. So I would just put forward in the future that I'm, determined to find county, state, federal money that can help with everything. Right now, we don't have time to run around and find a
No,
grant.
I agree.
But I think the whole thing needs revamped, and that might be able to save a lot of further emergencies down the line.
Just to make it clear, the facility itself has been renovated within the last 5 years. The majority of, there's new buildings, new equipment that's
Okay.
been put in. So the plant itself, as far as I'm concerned,
Okay.
is pretty modern. This particular section had new equipment put in, but electrically was not in part of the upgrade.
Okay.
So what we're dealing with today is stuff that's been there since it was installed in the 70s, I'm not sure. It's been there a long time, and I think that we got our money's worth out of it. And I say that as we, because I live in the town.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
And this is part of this particular plan is operated by Veolia, but we have a much broader conversation going on about other kinds of wastewater equipment that have date from 1963
The
so
town's
this is a
loaded,
broader, this is a broader set of issues that we need to grapple with in the water and wastewater system more generally. Despite many efforts and a lot of work to upgrade, it's a big system and
It
it's got
is
a
a
lot of
huge
moving parts.
system.
It's a huge system.
Right, so just a
Okay.
clarification, we're not talking about the Muni facility, we're talking about.
Arlington
the
Treatment
one
Plant.
that, the town
Only, yeah.
operates, and we're talking about the actual, the transformer at the facility.
At the facility,
At
yes,
the treatment
yeah.
center, right, okay.
this, I believe, and I can't state it as a fact, but this is 100% Town of Poughkeepsie facility,
Yeah. Operated by.
operated by
By
Veolia.
some very nice people.
Thank you.
Okay,
Okay, I'll make an amendment to what we would do for,
I think we can just make a motion because we don't have one
Okay.
on the floor,
so
so.
we'd make a motion to approve the repairs as requested by the sewer treatment plant under the emergency procurement at a price not to exceed $45,000.
Very good.
Second on that?
Second.
How much, what was the number?
45,000?
My only question there is whether we need that extra room in there or whether the 39,785 that we were quoted
I
is,
could say that my number's firm.
okay?
I will do it for that. I think maybe just because we didn't know the exact number.
Well, just in case
Yeah,
materials
exactly.
come in a little higher, that's all.
No, I would honor that.
If we have a firm number, then with appreciation for the effort to make sure that we get this done, it does sound like 39,785 is a number that'll get it done, and I would like well, I would amend the motion to be 39,785. That's my motion to amend.
okay, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any further discussion on the resolution as a whole? Any further information we need? All those in favor of the motion, that is, the motion would be to expend $39,785 for the electrical work at the plant as specified.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, the motion carries 6-0.
Thank you.
Thank you very much
Thank
for the
you.
information, and
Thank you,
hope
sir.
we can get this fixed.
Thank you.
All right, we have a notification next. I can't remember who was the one who
I think we
read.
just have to say that.
Yeah.
I think we just
We
have
don't
to,
have to
we
say
don't have
anything.
to, yeah. We have a
Notification.
notification of cannabis license for 4J's LLC, 2550 South Road. As I think we've said before, this does not mean that a dispensary will open there. It means that yet another person in the town has applied for a license. There's a whole bunch of those out there. They don't necessarily
And
mean
there's a
that
few
someone
out
has.
there from this particular person.
Yes, this is familiar, and it merely means they've applied for a license, not that they have received a license, much less that the town has approved anything. And then the last is a notice of claim referred to legal from Rahman versus the town, also another notification. Okay, then if that concludes our regular agenda, then I move that we move into, that we set aside the rules for public comment on any issue that people may want to, on which the, people may wish to address the board.
Second.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, then let's start with people who are in the room who may want to comment on any, or have 3 minutes of comment on any issue on or off the agenda. That would include anybody who might want to speak to the public hearing, because we had the Zoom issues earlier. If anyone did want to speak further on that, let me know. All right.
Nobody in the room?
Anyone who wants to speak?
Tommy, you coming out or heading out?
No.
Okay.
All right. Okay, then on Zoom, I believe we have Gina Klein first.
Good evening. I would like to remind you that I have previously requested that the town board establish a committee to do some research into finding out if it's possible to address the problems that are being encountered in paying for fire protection services for the Arlington Fire District and for the Fairview Fire District. And I would like to encourage anyone who is listening to this to contact your town board representative to encourage them to create such a committee. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gina. If I could follow up for just a second, I want to be clear because we also emailed about this. Are you asking for a committee that would be specific to EMS and the current issues we're having with EMS, or to fire districts generally?
I am definitely not talking about emergency medical services. I am talking about the costs that are being charged to the property owners and therefore to the renters as well by the Arlington Fire District and the Fairview Fire District. As I've stated in the past, the Arlington Fire District has the largest real property tax assessment in the entire state.
Okay, thank you very much. And as I said, I think by email this afternoon, other board members, if there are board members who would like to form such a committee, or if you'd like the discussion of such a committee, we can put that on an agenda, a future agenda. I'd be happy to put it on an agenda for discussion. Was there someone else who had a hand up who was on Zoom? Georgette.
Hi, I have two questions, and they have nothing to do with what we've been talking about. I went down Crick Road, I think it was yesterday, and when I got to the circle that connects Crick Road to the end of Smith Street, I noticed that in the middle of the roundabout that was placed there, a structure had been put up. It was very modern, it's artistic, and there were men there that were off the roundabout, and they were putting like pillars up. It looked like on the sidewalk. It had writing and looked like maybe dates. I'm not sure what it said because it was too cold to park my car and go read it. But I'm thrilled that this area which could be very well overlooked, has gotten some attention and some beautification. And I was wondering, is this because of the town, or is this donated by some, museum or something? And I was wondering who the artist is. Have you noticed it, Mike?
I did see it the other day. As far as I know, it's the city putting it up. I don't know who's doing it, though.
So
We can find out.
I don't know who the
Isn't it
artist
town?
is, but I think I know who knows. I think it is city-based, and the Mass Design, along with a group celebrating the African spirit, worked together to honor some leaders in the African-American community in Poughkeepsie. And I think if I can get you the phone number or the email address for Mass Design, or maybe check their website or their social media, I think that they were involved in the project and might be able to tell you, might be able to share information about the artist. Once again, it would be nice to have a Poughkeepsie Journal that had on the front page. It's really hard to get news around here, but I think that the Mass Design could help you. I believe I saw a preliminary design from them. And I'm
Okay.
glad to know. I have to drive by there now. I hadn't seen that was going up, so that's good news.
Oh, it is very nice, it's very modern, and it stands right out because, it's tall. So I think you'll enjoy it too.
That's great. Is there any other comment from anyone who's online, on Zoom? Well, that's a lovely place to end then. If there anybody else on the board who attended the Association of Towns, New York Association of Towns, who would like to speak about that experience, I know that a number of us were there as new board members. You get your 3 minutes if you want to talk about what that was like.
Three whole
Limit
minutes.
3 minutes, we can't do.
I don't think that applies to you.
It doesn't, but I might try to persuade people that it
Okay.
applies to us
Yeah,
too.
there you go.
I know, it was a, pleasure to go with, Barb and Ryan and Rebecca to the, meeting. And, there's many things, a wide variety of things, and you can pick a, curriculum. So a lot of things that come out as far as technology, as far as grants, which is very important, which I'll let Barb talk about. She was in that class. And also, so it wasn't quite as structured as the first one in Albany, which was more of a training for new folks like myself. But this was more of a, cutting edge, and then you also get a chance to go and interact with other town, leaders, which is very, very productive on the breaks and things, so that you can, who your counterparts are, and strike up, a relationship with them. So that was also very valuable, so.
I guess I just wanted to reiterate that I learned so much, especially about grants, so I want to be like a little hound dog and go find more money. And I think I was disappointed that I couldn't go to certain events because there were 50 minutes and you had a choice of 10, and I wanted to go to 3, and I could only go to 1. But I did see some people like sit in the back and sneak out early and go get half of one and half of another. But a lot of things for climate smart communities, which we are. That was really interesting. And I loved how all the presenters just understood it. They said, yes, this is happening. We are having flooding. It's taxing our sewage treatment center. It's taxing our roads. And it wasn't a debate. It was just like, here's where you can go to fix it. Here's where you can go to find money. We're here to help you. I sat in on New York Power Authority, and they're ready to help any municipality who wants to save money on their electric bills. And I said, sign us up.
Yeah, I also found it valuable, the fellowship as well, but the classes really covered the gamut of what we deal with as public servants. And one in particular that really meant a lot to me was this fictional town called Calamity Falls.
Yeah.
Yes. And so this town was faced with all these issues, and they had representatives just saying, this is what you would do if this happened. You would come to me, do this before coming to this agency, etc. So you saw how all these entities and agencies work together to help towns with challenges similar to what we have here. So I found it very useful. There was also a track for those who wanted to learn what the highway guys do, or if you wanted to learn what guys like Jim Nelson do. There was a track for county attorneys as well. So very, very cohesive, very informative, very holistic. And I'm looking forward to next year going again.
Great. I'll just say that I'm still concerned about the need for regular financial reporting and for the board to exercise its fiscal fiduciary oversight. So I attended the whole track on board fiscal oversight and financial forms and fund balance and the whole works. Accounting for supervisors. I feel like I need an accounting degree along with an urban planning degree and several others. So it was a very good class. And, you know, I know we complain about New York a lot, and probably for good reason, but there are a lot of really good New York offices, and the people were there to talk about how every kind of agency can provide help and support, so that was helpful. Okay. I think we can make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you very much. Have a great night.
Thank you.